And hear me. Hey, can you hear me? Hey Victor, can you turn on the mic? You test your mic?
Works.
No?
Yeah, it works now. I have to
Okay.
quit, log back in, and it worked.
Yeah, that seems so weird. Like with Discord recently, like I keep disconnecting and then reconnecting again. Okay. So let's start. Can you see my screen? Hello, everyone. Can you see my screen now?
Yeah, you can see it.
Okay. Okay, I think like we quite late now, so let's start. Good morning. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to OpenGuild community. And Can you still see my screen? I think so. Okay, everyone, all good?
Think so.
Right. Okay. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to OpenGuild community. And today we're gonna have a community call about hydrations, Polkadot decentralized finance reimagined. Hydration is a very interesting topic. And also like a project that I think like right now in the DeFi sectors of Polkadot ecosystem, hydrations is like a leading project that like offer like liquidity product to a lot of like consumer apps building on this protocol. On the other hand, they also like have like Uniswap, a Uniswap 2.0 like liquidity pool, which we're gonna like discover more in our community call. And to introduce more about today, so like we have our special guest Victor. He's I think like our community call our like OpenGuild members already like familiar with Victor. So Victor, to introduce a bit, Victor is a developer relation of Kaya blockchain, or formerly known Clayton network. And right now we have Victor here to share with us also like a bit about his DeFi experience, because like to be honest, I'm not an expert in DeFi, and I don't get like very interested in decentralized finance as well. But I just research to have like a minimum understanding of the protocol so that I can share with the community member. Okay, so let's begin.
Oh, so I start right. Okay, sounds
Let
good.
me. Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
Victor, maybe you can give us a quick introductions about yourself before like, I start the main content of
Uh,
hydration today.
Yeah, so hey everyone, my name's Victor. Big DeFi-maxi, been into the whole DeFi scenes ever since I discovered Kyber Network back in 2019. Also why I purchased the domain defi.vn, which is I'm the owner and also one of the contributor to the docs. And yeah, I love DeFi. Still into DeFi is probably the only use case I think should be the leading for blockchain and crypto. Everything else is like secondary, and I think everything should just revolve around DeFi. Which, if you see Vitalik tweets recently, is a little bit of a controversial opinion, but sure, let's get started. I'm okay. You can start. Yeah.
Yeah. Sort. Oh my God. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so yeah, thank you, Victor. Thank you for your sharing. I think like your point of view is also like a bit different from mine, because like to be honest, like my point of view is the only is it the infrastructure stuff and everything like resolving around it? Is it the secondary product view on top of it? Even like decentralized finance, but that's great. Like because like in our discussion, there's going to be like one person will become a devil advocate try to prove their point. So yeah. Hope everyone like let's like hear me clearly. Right now, like there's a big storm in our like in the SIA region. So it's affect like all the in the internet connection here. Let me know if you can still hear me, because like there's no signal that I can identify whether that my connection work well. So interrupted voice. Shit. Uh,
maybe we just close the stream until we need to go through the content.
Right now, I need to go to the content.
Okay.
Okay. But maybe like first before like we go to the slide, can you give like your opinion about hydrations? To be honest, like from my point of view, like I don't know much about hydrations, just basic understanding. But how about you? Like you have like deep experience with DeFi before. When you look at hydrations, read to its documentation, what do you think about it?
Yeah, so hydration is not, so I think you mentioned Uniswap before. So hydration, the design doesn't look like Uniswap at all. They are so there are multiple ways that hydration manage the liquidity. One of them is they have this concept called Omnipool, which is they allow you to deposit one asset only, and then they will mint their own token. It's called learner token, which is gonna be used to be the other side of the liquidity pool. But they work similarly to a lot of other single-sided liquidity pool, which there's a few of them like Maverick. I think on there's Wombat Exchange. It's also single-sided. The nice thing about single-sided is Uniswap has its own issues. Uniswap is like one of the great inventions that proposed by Vitalik and then executed by Uniswap. And it's a very simple model. However, it has its own issues with impermanent loss, slightly weird mechanism when you start swapping. There's always some issues with MEV. So single sided liquidity, nice thing is you are not gonna get. I don't think you have impermanent loss, except there might be some MEV which will cause some loss. But I'm not super familiar with how Polkadot managed the mempool, so I'm not 100% sure how that's gonna work. But usually single sided liquidity is a lot safer compared to dual sided liquidity like Uniswap or V2, V3, and those ones. So hydrations, I think, is you shouldn't even consider that to be similar to Uniswap. It should be its own class. They invent, I don't know if it's invent, but they have very interesting model which using their own tokens. And the way they pitch to me is like it's like unify all different pools with using their token to be able to. It's like doing this omnipool concept, which I don't think, at least I don't know if that is even available on Ethereum side, because right now I think the other one that they have is Balancer, which they have something called multi-token pool, which I also think they are different from hydration. So hydration is super. I think it is very special, from my reading of the docs. And I also got some DOT just now. I just bought some DOT from Binance, just deposit to my sub wallet, and we'll share my screen and then we do something with hydration. See what does it look like. Right?
That's so awesome. I think like you are real like defi-maxis because I just invited you like a few hours ago, and then like you already repair by like buying some dot and depositing to the protocol. So yeah, and everyone like I think like Victor already mentioned like a lot of concept that that like the hydration protocol has. For example, like Omnipool, like sided. Yeah, forgot the term, but
Single
yeah, like
sided,
yeah, single
single sided.
yeah, single-sided. But yeah, anyway, like we're gonna get started, and then like later in this section, like Victor gonna give you the also like his perspective, and also like he gonna share the screen to play around with the protocol a bit.
For sure, for
Okay,
sure.
so yeah, before we go into the main content about hydrations, so hello everyone, and I'm here again. So I'm Tin, and today gonna like lead you to this community call. And I'm a developer relation lead of OpenGuild, engineer at Roach.io at this moment, and PPA Wi-Fi graduate. Also, like I'm a Polkadot SDK contributor, so like I'm like 100% like full time on Polkadot. And about the OpenGuild community, so open for anyone like your first time joining the OpenGuild community call. So like our OpenGuild community is a Web3 group for Polkadot enthusiasts in Southeast Asia region, and we mainly like focus on like hosting a lot of events, workshop, to help people like expand their knowledge in Polkadot. And on the other hand, we also like like dive deep into the technical aspect, that we build a lot of software, like do research and development stuff, to help play role in the Polkadot ecosystem, to the technical, like to the very low level engineering stuff. Okay, so some past activities of OpenGuild labs. So like we have like contributions of OpenGuild to the Rust and Polkadot ecosystem. So like, we build a lot of tutorials, for example, like OpenRust, OpenGuild like monthly hackathon, and also like a tutorial like build your own NFT blockchain with subject keys. And you can find all the missions that you can work on the app.openguild.wtf. And yeah, and here's like some pictures, some like showcase photos that we have, display like what we have already done in the past few months. So like activities across the CS country. So we participate in the Sub-Zero conference. We also like do the Durian party in Malaysia, and we also like host like offline workshop in Vietnam, in Hanoi, and also like Ho Chi Minh City, to help like guide people about the Sub-3 and also like smart contract development. Right, so what is hydration? This like reference from directly from the hydration documentation. So hydration is a next generation DeFi protocol, which is designed to bring an oceans of liquidity to Polkadot, different from other DeFi product built on top of, for example, Ethereum or the L2 blockchain like Polygon. So let's take like Uniswap for example. So Uniswap, the core of Uniswap is the smart contract, and it is not a blockchain itself. It's not an application specific blockchain. But for the hydration is a parachain, and it's used the all kind of features. It use like a very low level environment of blockchain. For example, like block productions, block finalization of the protocol of the Polkadot protocol to power its DeFi protocol. That's why it's hydrations different from other DeFi project on like Ethereum blockchain, or like in Ethereum like ecosystem, and also like in like other L2 ecosystem. So for hydrations, based on my research, it's gonna like focus on like two different type target. The first one gonna be like for DeFi lovers like Victor right here. And the second one would be like the for developers. Maybe this is for me, or any like for any like hackathon builders that you're interested in how to use hydration, to use the power of liquidity. So let's get through some products of hydrations. The presentation slide today is not very long because we're gonna like try to deep dive into the documentation directly. But first about the product, I have like some like top like feature product. For example, like AMM, automated market maker. Also like a swapping asset swapping feature. Um, then like in hydration, you also like has a feature to like place an OTC order, trade any asset over the counter with adjusted third parties or slippage, and place an OTC order and let others view. Another product of hydrations, this one is the Omnipool that Victor already mentioned. And we also like deep dive with the hands-on experience in this feature later in the demo section of Victor. And the another one would be the stacking. Like you can use the hydration tokens called HDX to stack to the protocol, and then also claim reward later. Then the most interesting one, I think, like which is the mempool, and hydration like just recently launched this feature, like for like anyone that can create a meme coin on your own. Yeah. So now I think that you cannot see my screen. It's got disconnected. Can you see my screen now? Yeah, so we're gonna learn about hydrations by directly go like walk through the doc. To be honest, like, I'm not very experienced with this doc yet, and I will also like a learner here, so we're gonna like try to deep dive into it. So about hydration, you can find the doc that I already sent to our like community call like chat box, so you can find it there. So in the hydrations, there's few different feature. The first one gonna be the Omnipool, which is like the most key feature of hydrations. So let's learn about like hydration Omnipool, and it's an innovative automated market maker which unlock like parallel efficiency by combining like all assets in a single trading pool. And I hope like Victor like later like can help us explain a bit about like a single trading pool. What is it? Because like to be honest, from my point of view as normal DeFi learner, so before like when I learned about like an AMM, an automated maker maker like Uniswap, like you have one pool, and then like they have like multiple parties that can participate in the pool, and then like deposit the money into it, like the two-sided token, for example like USDT and also like the Polkadot. Then like you're gonna have like a liquidity pool there that like to help power back the conversions of the user trading. So what can you help us like to explain a bit about like what is a single trading pool?
Yeah, single-sided pool essentially allows you to deposit only one asset. So traditional dual-sided pool requires you to deposit both assets. For example, if you're doing something like ETH USDC pool, then you have to deposit 50% in ETH and 50% in USDC. For example, 1,000 USDC and 1,000 worth of ETH on the other side. You have to deposit both together. There are some protocol on the Ethereum side, like Balancer. They allows you to do like 3 different assets, or sometimes allow you also do um, so like skewed it as well. So some of them will do like 80% on one side and then 20% on the other side. But majority of AMM at the moment it usually follow dual-sided liquidity, and single side has a lot of advantage, simplicity, and also like this, it exposes you to less impermanent loss, which we'll have some time to explain more on the IL impermanent loss, which is it's kind of funny, but it's like a funny thing. If you don't close your position, it's impermanent because you don't close your position. You close it, it becomes permanent. Yeah.
Okay, so how's like the impermanent loss, and how does like the impermanent loss like work in the single-sided chicken pool? I think I missed that part.
I also have a link on Uniswap over here, and you can also take a look at how like overall what the calculation is. But essentially, if you basically the idea is if you just holding the token, compared to you put your money in a protocol, uh, how much you be gaining compared to losing essentially. So that's the implement loss. Is because when you put a DeFi position in, that means you have to swap half your asset over to the other side. That means that means you're locking in your asset at that price point, and then as the curve is moving, your asset is being changed along the curve. So compared to if you so then the comparison is like if I'm doing on this gymnastic with my DeFi positions compared to my I'm just holding it, right? I'm just holding ETH, I'm just holding DOT. There's a divergence how much like money I'm making. Right? Imagine like tomorrow, dot double. Right? You have $100 in dot, and then tomorrow is like your dot is worth $200. Compare that to your DeFi position. Is your DeFi position actually worth $200 or more or less? If it's less, you are experiencing impermanent loss. For single-sided liquidity, the nice thing is because if you holding dot, you put it in, that's it. You still holding dot. So you're putting 50, like you're putting in 50 dot. You, I'm not 100% sure how hydration works exactly, but if I base on some protocol on the Ethereum side, like Wombat, they allow you to put, let's say, like 100 dot in, you get 100 dot back out. That means you still have both. You still get the yield or like the interest from all the trading fee in the protocol. At the same time, you also receive the upside of like your asset going up, right? Like double tomorrow asset going up. Compared to Ethereum, when you do like Uniswap, if Ethereum double, you will experience immense loss, especially if it doubles so fast. Your loss is gonna be like immense, like crazy amount of losses.
Do you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Yeah.
Okay. Just worried that you can hear me. Yeah, thanks for the like a very detailed explanations. So we can also like move to the second part, that in the doc that we just get to is the efficient trading. Uh, so let me wrap the idea first. Yeah, so I think like Victor mentioned that made it market maker and also like hydrations Omnipool in like some, but like we don't talk about like the mathematical stuff here. We mainly like talk about like some kind of like liquidity fragmentations that you can see in the doc that like the pioneer APF model map of pivotal movement 45, which was decentralized and permissionless trading possible. So the simplicity of like some kind of pool boosted the initial adoption of DeFi. For like today, we stand at point where the resulting economic inefficiency hindered the continued adoptions in the AMM. And there's also like some kind of like calculation here that you can see in the percentage of the loss, like if like when you do like in the traditional AMM. And in the hydrations like Omnipool, we like reach to. But there's a question from the audience, Victor, that like how calm hydrations does not encounter the impermanence loss issues. We
Yeah,
hope it's
so now they do have impermanent loss based on their docs. Usually single sided. How do I say? At least the one I've seen from Wombat, you still get the same asset. However, the yield is so small. It's not. I don't know. It's been worth it to put the money in. But for hydration, they do say that they do have impermanent loss. And the way it's based on something with their TKN and also the divergence between their TKN, which are also like there wasn't much explanation on their side what is exactly is TKN, and also with the LearnNet token, which is their unified liquidity token. So I think the best way is like when we try to put money into a protocol, we will see how it looks like and give it like I would do a check tomorrow, see how much money I lost or I gained. Then we figured out like how much even loss is gonna be. Because if it's like Uniswap, the even loss is very clear cut, at least for a lot of people. For hydration, I'm still like the docs is pretty good, I think. However, they have like I think they still are not detailed enough, especially the calculations. I guess it's for simplicity, so the calculation is not entirely elaborate compared to a lot of the. And also, I don't know how new like are they like a new platform or anything like that, to also have the community to also contribute on a lot of the calculations and so on, for us to kind of calculate what are the issues that we can see. But typically, with single sided, um for example, right, like if I'm so impermanent loss, so as I explained, right, the impermanent loss basically means that your defi, the deviation between price between your defi positions and compared to holding just the asset, right, not doing anything. For example, I'm holding my ETH, I'm not doing anything like that. I'm just getting money because ETH goes up or down or whatever it is, right? But I'm putting my ETH into DeFi position, and based on whatever the protocol is doing, after a certain amount of time,
Hey, Victor.
oh, oh shit, I lost. Shit.
Yeah, we all lost. We all lost for.
Yeah. I think it was like one of the network disconnect. Yeah, I was going on and on there.
Uh,
Yeah.
it's really bad. Like, sorry, guys. We didn't expect that it's gonna be like this. Like, is it because of Discord? Not.
Yeah, Discord is doing bad. Yeah. But anyway, we'll see. So to answer your questions, I'm not 100% sure, right? They say that they still have impermanent loss, but minimal. That means I guess their pitch is like you will make more money than you lose. So then no issue, right? If you make 10% and you lose 2%, you still make 8%, right? So, but we'll see. I will put my money in and see if I make pretty good, and then we'll see what happens.
I hope that answer your questions. If you have any other questions, just feel free left here so that we can try to answer that. Um, yeah, I think like right now, like maybe like everyone here waiting for the part that you can experience with the protocol, because like we already like have a lot of like technical issues, so it's not very wise for me like to just get to the doc. Um, so maybe like we're gonna learn by doing. So are you comfortable to share your screen and like experiment with the protocol, Victor?
Yeah, 100%. Here, I'm gonna share my screen. Give me one moment. I need to give permission to this Discord to share my screen.
Okay, yes. Hope that our admin can help you to do that. I think that we can see your screen now. Can you turn on your mic, Victor? I think you're not turning on your mic. Hey, Victor.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay, yeah.
Let's see. Yeah, you see, right here, this is already different from Uniswap. You go something like this, or here. You only see, this is how Uniswap looks like. You see the pair, USDC, ETH, USDT, DAI, USDC, blah, 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 and then you have the fee for the LP, right? So now you go back to hydration. Go back to hydration, it looks very different, right? This looks more like balancer, with like the different kind of pool setup. This even looks different from Wombat. So this is Wombat, just for anyone who's interested. They also do single side. They also do single side liquidity. So you go here. These are single sided. Right? You just put one asset in, and you start making money. Right? And you're doing like 12% and stuff like that here. But let's go back to
So like, it's like single-sided things. Like it's like a stacking, right?
yes,
Like,
kind of
yeah.
like that. Yeah, it's like staking. So you put just one token in, and then they will have their own ways of collecting the trading fees and pay out to you, right? Like part of the trading fee is gonna go to you. For hydrations, you can see like it looks. I'm not sure what HDX is. Dot. I can see dot right here. So let's go this one. Okay. So add enjoy farms. Okay. I want to put some dot in. Let's. Now my account is this 130. My account is here, but why my balance is 0?
Oh, I guess because like hydration is a like they have their own like parachute network, so you have just my guess, but like you have to deposit the token to
Oh,
the
is
protocol.
it? Okay. How do I do that now?
Um, can you click on like wallet? Like switch to the no, I mean the wallet tab. No, I mean like the wallet tab on the navigation bar, like yeah, cross chain, yeah, like Chris said, like go to cross chain.
You got asset hub. Wait, I'm not in asset hub. I think Polkadot. There it is. I found it. Transfer. What the fuck? What? Literal unreadable. YOLO, man. It's here. Okay, now I got the balance. Good. Let's go. Let's just do 10 for now. I have less than 0.01% of pool. Adding liquidity will generate rewards through minimum. Minimum is 12. Also, okay, so the farm is like these so a lot of times protocol have to incentivize the LP because for example the liquidity is low, so then like people are not trading, so the fees not a lot of fees are being made. That's why they usually have this thing called farms, and then you basically you put liquidity in, then you will receive some sort of like NFT or something that represent your LP position. So let's add enjoy farm, I guess, because that makes sense. I'm not sure of tip block author. For some reason, every single time was different account. I don't even know. YOLO. I only put 13 dots just so we have more money to play like around for all the things. Maybe do some swap and stuff like that. Okay, looks good. Side transactions. Wait, so gap farms, okay. Okay. Looks like I'm joining a bunch of farms, at least 2 farms. Okay, join farms. Okay, good. So usually, platforms have something like this. You to track your position. Farm position right now. Joy Farm. They give you. The nice thing about DeFi is usually for DeFi is, I guess, it's usually by the seconds or how fast the block is calculated. So then you can see your rewards super fast. To me, to be honest with you, if you have to pick between this and a normal savings account, I would say 99% of the time this DeFi is better all the time. You have higher yield. Your payout is basically by the seconds or as fast as possible based on the blockchain, and you can withdraw this thing anytime you want. Instead, you do a deposit at the bank, they be like, yo, you gotta lock your money with us for like a whole year. If you take your money out, we only pay you the free floating rate, the free floating interest rate instead of like the locked in interest rate. But for DeFi, you always receive that nice, sweet locked in interest rate. And here you have the APR from a trading, I think here, which they don't tell me the estimate. Because some other protocol like Uniswap, the way they will give you the daily rate. So basically the total fees or the 24 hours rolling window. So they would do the total fees in that in that window of 24 hours divided by the total TVL. Yeah, so basically how much money you're making for given the percentage of your LP position within the pool. So they don't let me know, but it goes up pretty fast. So by the seconds, it looks kind of fast. And you also get an extra 10.3% plus 1.8% over here. And a tip for you is like never trust these percent because it doesn't always reflect the real thing. Or sometimes they would do some crazy math behind the scenes or some sort of like whatever math they do, because usually a lot of protocol they want to display as high of a rate as possible to to make you feel like you should put your money in. Sometimes the real rate is only like 5%, but they would tell you it's actually 20%. It's 20%, bro. Trust me. Like, trust the numbers over here. But the way I usually tell people is like, don't ever trust these number. Don't ever trust any percent that you see on here. Or you only trust the amount that you actually can claim, and that's your real interest rate. And the way I usually do it is so we just put LP, let's say about 5 minutes ago. So let's say that's like 850 for me. So within 24 hours, so tomorrow, or could also do like 12 hours as well if you want to. So 24 hours tomorrow, exactly this time tomorrow, I will go into this website, give and take. You don't have to be exactly 24 hours. You don't have to be precise. 24 hours later, you can go back to here and see how much you earn. That's your real percent. And then you can, from that one day, you can extrapolate over to, like, I would say, I think a year is a little bit hard to determine. But let's say you want to do the APR to match with their claim. You take the 24-hour, then you multiply by 365. That's going to be your APR for the year. And you see how much you actually get that deviates from their whatever the claim that they did that they do. Right. So tomorrow, I will go back into the group. I will post a screenshot of my positions because I don't know how to check this thing on chain for me. Otherwise, I would send you the address of my positions, or maybe I figure it out tomorrow. I send you the address of my position so you can check for yourself how much I made, and yeah, and hopefully you can learn something about this thing. But it's kind of cool, right? And you can see it's going up pretty fast too. So hopefully I'm making good money tomorrow. But I guess it's still not crossing like $1. It's still only like $0. So we'll see.
But curious, like how can you like identify a good pool to invest in, and also like how can you identify like how much money that you're gonna like put into your farm?
Okay. So everyone has their own sort of like appetite for risk, and it depends on your impermanent loss. Or so for example, right? Like the higher the yield means the more risk it is usually. Like for example, like a stable coin pool, right? If it's stable coin, you 100% would have very little, like tiny, just tiny bit of impermanent loss. But then the yield is like crap. The yield is like maybe like a few percent only, which is still better than your fiat account. However, in the world of DeFi, feel like 8, 4, 5, 6% is like that's like rookies numbers, man. Like we need like at the minimum for DeFi, you're looking like a lot of protocols doing crazy numbers. Like you're looking at like above 10 at the minimum, at least for me. Above 10, depending on the assets. If it's something like blue chip, I'm looking at like 20, 30%, 40%. Sometimes I can do leverage. I can go up to like 60, 70% APR for my assets. So how much money I put in. How do I, and then it depends on, and I shuffle my asset around quite a bit depending on my risk appetite at the time. For example, usually I would go by, I don't do a lot of stablecoin pool. I only use stablecoin pool when I have money in transit. So basically, if I need money in the next couple weeks, like I need like fiat, right? I need to pay my rent, or I need to pay my my living expenses, uh, etc. So then I would have some USDC, some stable coins, and then as I'm waiting to exit that position, I would also have the stable coin inside some sort of stable pool for it to accrue for it to get like a little bit of interest, not so much, but any amount of money is good money, right? But most of the time, 90% of my position is something like blue chip pool. Because I don't have super high appetite for crazy risk. Like some people like meme coin pool, which can go like 1,000% APR, like which imagine 1,000% per year. But you're getting your percent in the in terms of tokens. Your meme coin might not even exist for a year, right? So you play with the risk, right? So usually 90% of my positions is in blue chip pair, which is I would say is semi The way I would define the blue chip is basically a solid asset plus stablecoin. So, for example, for Uniswap, my most stake pool is actually ETH and USDC, just because it's super nice, lots of trading volumes, lots of fees to be collected. It's nice, right? Just straightforward. The imperm loss is not super high. Most of the time, if the range is correct, you stacking a lot of fees without being out of range. So that's at least that's the way I do. The remaining 10% is on higher risk. For example, something like ETH and an auth token, like ETH and ENS. I hold a lot of ENS, which is like, if you know, like Ethereum name service. I hold a lot of them because I got the airdrop and I also bought more ENS as well, and I'm still keeping it. Then something like ETH Starknet, which I also put that in because they have the incentives. For example, for this, if I were to do this, I would 100% put a lot of money in DOT in this particular pool, because I'm not sure how much it's getting me just yet, but I see here it's already more than 10% for an asset like DOT, which is pretty good. It's a premium asset. It's up top in terms of cap and the ecosystem, so it's pretty decent. I would say this is a worthwhile to put a higher percentage of your pool, of your DOT into this. At least that's what I think so far, right? Haven't explored that like that much as yet. Okay, so let's also try out other things, I guess. Anyone has any questions? So I can hopefully can answer that like right now before we try something else.
Sure, like you mentioned, meme coin. So, do you like trade meme coin? Like, do you invest in meme coin or something? Can you share a bit about it? Because we also have a meme pad here, which is a cool feature.
Yeah. So I don't really do anything meme coin. Sometimes I spend like $1 or two and just like a Hail Mary. It's like, hey, maybe that's like maybe it's my lucky day. But I always lose all that money, which is like a few dollars. I find that it's not it's like buying a lottery, right? Like, you can buy a lottery.
I think we lost you, Peter.
Oh, we lost. Okay, okay, yeah. So I don't do it. So if you received it via like platform or something like that, yeah, sure, take it, keep it if you want. You don't even have to sell it because it's like extra money. So then you can be be along with the culture. But if it's like buying, I don't think it's worth it. I think it's worth it. Is like just is like as much as lottery. That means if you like to gamble a little bit, it's like, hey, maybe my odds, maybe I will win today, right? Sure, do go ahead, but don't go crazy with it. At least that's what I think. Most of the time, I would recommend people just like, hey man, just lock your money into some pool, collect the interest, and that's it. Straightforward. It's almost like it's I think it's somewhat close to passive investing, but it's not really passive because you still need to manage and make sure your position is making money, calculating, tracking, all that kind of stuff, swapping between this and that. It's not super passive, but it's not super hard to do, and you earning more money than your fiat account, right? So then, why not? I recommend people to do that more than anything. Like, just do that. And then you want to risk like maybe like 0.00 something percent of your net worth on some meme coin, sure, go ahead. Right? Don't go crazy.
Cool. Maybe like we can try another feature like trade. So like maybe you go to liquidity pool or something. Yeah.
Yeah, so we're gonna go trade here. Trade OTC is probably something like super big, and oh, it's probably one of those. Oh, what is this? Sapien? It's something like crazy. Okay, someone 2,000% must be some meme coin here.
Yeah, I think for that one is the OTC order. So like someone like offer an order and then you can like fill out the order
Yeah.
or not. Yeah.
Interesting, yeah. I'm actually very interested on how they do this. So on Ethereum, you would have something like cow swap, which they do this by doing this thing called intent. Basically, the user or like the one that want to place an order, they would sign a message saying like they want this order to be filled with these conditions, and then people would try to beat basically we will try to fill that based on the described conditions, which is why it's called intent, because I displayed my intent to do something and someone else cannot fulfill it. So it would be very interesting how exactly to do this one
Yeah,
in a
exactly. I think like in iterations, like I just watched a video from the COVID, and they also like have a concept called like intent. That as you mentioned, that like someone have an intent to do something, and then it's gonna create an order, an on-chain order. I think like I believe that this logic is defined in the runtime module, or we can say like a palette on substrate, and then yeah.
Cool, yeah, super cool. Okay, let's do some swapping. Yield DCA as well. So I'm diver- diversify your yield from stake dot. Okay, send your dot to Bifrost, and then stake dot to get V dot. Send V dot to hydration, and schedule your yield DCA. Select as your assuming of like basically I'm assuming this is some sort of like if you're getting a yield, and then you will swap your yield into some asset, and works well. It is here, right? So works well if the access is losing in price, and you're hoping it's gonna pump back up later on. It will be a nice thing to do. So very interesting. Um, I can see that it's quite an advanced protocol, I would say. Like given what you get on Uniswap, Uniswap is a very simple protocol. I guess it's designed to be that way, and it doesn't go beyond that. It doesn't even have some of the important tool that I like that I need to do. For example, if you go to Uniswap right now, you want to open a pool. Let's say I want to open a pool. Uh, It's just I don't know, like what is like it's not super well made. Like this one looks convenient, but then it's super annoying for people who does a lot of LPing. It's like why don't just give me like the range here, like 5%, 10%, or whatever it is, or let me set percent here and then just automatically set it for me. And all these things is just very annoying. For like Uniswap, they're charging 0.15% for this freaking front end already. Anyway, that's my rant. But for hydration, so far it looks very advanced. I think it's would be very good for power user, not so much for if you don't know, if you get lost. A lot of people might get lost here, but I like this for me.
I think we lost you again.
We lost. Okay. Yeah, basically I was just ranting about how Uniswap is just too simple, and it doesn't have a lot of features to support like power user. But I think this one does have it, because like all of those like yield DCA and stuff like that is probably for power user. Like they get the yield and then they want the DCA and stuff like that. They can do it automatically with the protocol, which is pretty nice, right? Let's try some swapping. Let's. I have some dot. I have some dot right here, 15. Okay, let's swap 5 dots. T. Got single tray. Okay. Split tray. Ah, they even have this. Very interesting. Minimum receive. Yeah, so you will have minimum price impact. Very nice. Look at that. Okay, I don't know if they round it. So usually for AMM pool like Uniswap, you will always have some sort of price impact, because no matter how small your amount that goes in, you will always have some sort of impact. Guarantee, always. So I don't know if they route this, like it's like 0.00 something percent, and they route it to zero, or it's actually zero, right? So we'll see. and I have to pay the fee. Okay, 0.3%. I don't know how much LP gets in here. It doesn't. I need to read the docs again. So the root. Oh yes, and a lot of DEX nowadays they would do multi-hop, basically instead of like direct hop, because sometimes multi-hop is more efficient. I think this is multi-hop, best root and stuff. Okay, let's just swap it. Swap 0.0. Okay, you sold 5 dot. Okay.
The question about Uniswap V4, like have you
Yeah.
tried that, Victor?
What's up?
It's a question about like Uniswap V4. Like I'm
Oh,
curious, like if
V4. Yeah. Okay. So it's not entirely like beta. So I did try some of the. Okay. So the contract is online, but they don't have a front end. So the way people would try is they build something with it. So the nice thing. So basically, V4 is I would say, oh, okay. It doesn't work very different from V3. However, they have hooks. Hooks is where it's gonna be very different because people would build a tons of different hooks. And hooks is basically when you do LP into the pool or before you do any action that interact with the pool, it will call another contract and do some crazy logic on the other contract before it goes back to the pool. So then people are building some crazy stuff with the V4. There's one guy's if you there's one guy, his name is Zipfram, and he's built this it's called metamorphic LP position DEX that is basically a hook on Uniswap V4, and I can give you the link to that. Yeah, and it's on testnet right now, so you can try. It's called
are there any
Honey, yeah.
other things are there any other thing that's similar to Uniswap V4 right now?
Pancake
Thank you.
Swap V4, which is a fork of Uniswap V4. I don't think people have I think so far Uniswap has been a forefront at, I would say this. They are at the forefront of AMM. AMM only, not DEX design. DEX design right now, they have tons of different design. Right? They have your cow swap one, which is intent based. You have the hyper liquid, which is order book based, and etc. Right? There's also a couple more order book ideas as well. So then there's tons of different DEX design, but Uniswap is the leading AMM design. So they usually, and the nice thing about Uni V4 is they cram the entire protocol into one single contract. That's how crazy it is. Like the kind of optimization they have to do to cram everything into one single contract is crazy. Right now, V3, they have a lot of contracts. They have like a bunch of different like things that manages on the pool, and then every single pool is its own contract. But for V4, they're gonna cram everything into one contract. Yes, it's every pool has own storage. But then imagine all the logic you cramp it into one single contract. Crazy. They do this thing like internal accounting, all that kind of stuff, to basically lower the cost of opening pool, and also lower the cost of like calculations, everything. Crazy stuff, right? They
But
which
I'm
also
curious, like how many lines of code that contract has? Because you are saying like it's only like one single contract, right?
yes. So let me check. Yeah, let me send the GitHub and check all day. But typically it's not super long. Usually smart contract code is like a couple hundreds plus, maybe 1,000 or plus or so. That's nice. So I just lock in my profit with my USDT. Okay, cool. Trade DCA. Okay. So I guess it just basically I can schedule I can schedule my orders over here over days, hour, weeks, etc. Okay, cool. And the last one is bonds. Okay, so they have bonds, which is it's just basically I buy it and then I get the yield, right? is pretty cool actually. I do like hydration. If it is like a brand new protocol, this is quite a bit of like it's quite a bit of work to build all this stuff.
Do you plan to play some DeFi games on this? I mean,
Oh yeah,
like
100%. I have some doubt. Definitely would chuck it in. I think I make more on this and the nomination pool. So why not, right? If this makes more than the nomination pool, yeah, why not?
okay.
Fee.
Yeah, okay. So I think that that's also like an amazing like hands-on experience. Like this is the first time we have a special guest speaker that like walk through one protocol like that with the community member, and that's amazing to see that. And I think that that's also like wrap up for our today community call. Like I don't know if anybody here like have any questions for our special guest Victor, because like we quite late now. But yeah, I think like I also like learned a lot from your like yeah from your presentation, Victor.
Cool. Yeah. Thanks for inviting me.
So maybe like to close our community call today, like can you share a tip? Maybe yeah, just a few bullet point tip to guide community member how that they can play with DeFi, how that they can learn about DeFi like you.
Yeah, so this is one thing I 100%. So first thing I'll do is get skin in the game, right? Skin in the game, and buy some asset. You don't have okay. A lot of people tell me it's like, oh, you need a lot of money for DeFi. No, you don't. You can just a few dollars, $10. You can play around with it, right? There's one thing I really want to push Procon to do, and this I've been advocating this, and one of my friend actually took my advice and he did this, and I really hope more Procon would do more is maintaining a testnet version of your protocol, especially for DeFi protocol. So, for example, if you want to play with hydrations, why not go over to a testnet of Polkadot, the testnet version of hydration, get unlimited amount of money and to try it, right? And imagine yourself that you would do for real, right? That I think that helps with educating people onto DeFi more than anything. That's the way I think about this, and not many people and so there's some protocols they do that decently well. However, one thing they don't do is I think another thing that they can do is like make the test environment to be as close as possible to the mainnet environment, which means they should also do a lot of swapping, like build some system to always swapping on a testnet to maintain some sort of parity over to mainnet, like pricing and etc. All that kind of stuff. So simulate the real environment for everyone involved, so people can learn about DeFi, right, with no risk. If you learn, I really don't want to push people into like learning DeFi by losing money, because I just think it's not it kind of like why should you lose money like pointlessly. But at this point, most likely the only way for you to learn is just buy some crypto, buy some dot, buy whatever asset you like on Polkadot, put it in into these protocol, and make sure you read the docs and kind of try to understand what they're trying to do. If it doesn't make sense, 100% go to their Discord, go to their community channels, and ask the questions. Right? How does it work? Where does the yield come from? Which is the hard questions. Where does the yield come from? Is it the next person paying me? Oh, it's actually trading fees, something like that. And just keep stacking the knowledge, right? Keep trying different protocol. Go on x.com, follow whoever is the DeFi guy in that respective chain, and see what they share. I share some of the stuff occasionally on my stream as well, or I share it on my Twitter, like my positions occasionally on my some community, and then you can kind of like, oh, okay, he's doing it like this. Maybe I can put like maybe he put like maybe I put in like $1,000. So don't put in $1,000 you try, put in $10, right? And then you see how much money you earn over the like over 24 hours, and then you multiply it up. If I put more money in, how much I would get, something like that. And then be careful on one thing is breaches. So Polkadot, I think because for Polkadot, I think there are a lot less exploits, smart contract exploit. I think what's that the what's that developer environment, or like the coding, the Anchor or whichever Rust, etc. They do have at least a runtime on Polkadot. They do enforce a lot of things, or like they don't allow you to do bad practice compared to Solidity, which you can do anything on that side. So then I think, but smart contract risk is a major thing for DeFi, and that's something you should be keeping in mind of is, can I lose all my money if this protocol get hacked, right? Is the protocol very proactive in security measure, right? Are they having like auditor on retainer? Do they have, and one thing is, you would know, for example, Uniswap has ran almost a year for Uni v4 on testnet. That's really long for someone like Uniswap. Compared to older protocols, they would just ship within a couple months. And that's also why a lot of them got exploited, because they don't give proper time for testing. They don't give proper time for the community to kind of weed out on the bugs and stuff. So security is a major thing, and I think Polkadot got that a lot better than Ethereum or EVM in an ecosystem. But smart contract risks will always be present, so always be mindful of it. If you're concerned that if the if you have a feeling that a protocol is not doing very well on security, I would just don't put your money in, right? It's probably not worth it. It's probably not worth it. You might be sleeping, and the next day you lose all your money. And I was at Kaya when the Orbit bridge got hacked, literally on New Year's Eve. How, and imagine the war room that has to be set up right after that to try to recover the asset on New Year's Eve. Crazy, right? Imagine you are relaxing and stuff and you lose all your money that night. All the bridge LP lost. $60 million just went straight to Lazarus, North Korean, right? So you don't want that to happen to you. So be mindful of that. Don't be too crazy with the protocol. Be no check their credentials. Check what they do. Are they open source? Do they have public? Do they have public security program? Do they have bug bounty program? All that stuff, right? Be mindful of that, and always bring the hard question to their community. Always, right? If the DeFi protocol doesn't want to engage with you as one of the user, don't use it. Tell them to fuck off. 100%. Tell them walk away. Your money is your money. Don't blindly believing in on these protocol, right? Um, the nice thing about DeFi is everything transparent, but then they would try to gaslight you, lie to you, and stuff like that if you don't understand how the protocol works. So at least it's transparent. So that if you see what they claim is not matching what you receive, call them out, right? Go directly to the community, tell them like, hey, this is misleading, right? Don't do this. Oh, I want to walk away. I'll walk away yourself, right? Tell other people, walk away as well. Things like that. That's what I would say. Keep it somewhat clean, right? So hopefully those are a couple of tips help everyone. I would try to share more in this community on my DeFi stuff. So hopefully people would learn some more. Yeah.
Yeah, that's you always like have a very dedicated presentation, and we love it. And yeah, that's also like a wrap up for our community call today. And like thank you, Victor, for like joining our community call, and also like share your experience with hydration, and also like your knowledge in DeFi. You're a real DeFi maxis. And if any like community member want to learn more about DeFi, feel free like to leave a message in like OpenGuild Discord, and then like definitely like, have our like a DeFi maxi expert, Victor here, like to help you guys like to learn more about it. And definitely I can also like become like his learner as well, like his student as well. All right, so thank you everyone, and have a good weekend. So yeah, thank you everyone, thank you Victor, and see ya.
Enjoy everyone. Bye bye.